The Lil Dark and 051 Wu feud just hit a federal level. Evidence, witnesses, and digital data are stacking up, and the smallest detail could decide the fate of careers and lives in Chicago's drill scene. Lil Dark maintains his innocence, but federal scrutiny, social media, and public perception are intensifying. In Chicago's drill scene, every connection, every post, every move could shape a career or put lives at risk. Federal prosecutors say the evidence will tell the whole story. But in Chicago's drill scene, rumors spread fast, reputations hang in the balance, and every text, video, and financial record could redefine Lil Dark's career and the narrative of the entire feud. Drill music meets federal scrutiny. Prosecutors are connecting street conflicts to lyrics, social media, and real-world violence. Every post, every track, every connection could influence Lil Dark's fate, and the Chicago drill scene is watching closely. The release of a suspect hasn't eased tensions, it's just raised the stakes. Digital evidence, messages, and geolocation are under scrutiny, and every move Lil Dark makes is being watched. In hip-hop, perception can be as powerful as the law itself. Chicago is watching closely. While federal investigators build their case, community leaders push for change, and every development could reshape Lil Dark's career, the 051 Wu feud, and the drill scene itself. The evidence will tell the story, and it's far from over.
The latest developments in the Lil Dark and 051 Wu situation have the hip-hop world watching closely. Recently, federal authorities made a key statement. They believe the evidence will reveal the full story behind the events that have gripped Chicago's rap scene. For fans, artists, and industry insiders, these words signal a turning point in a case that has been shrouded in rumors, social media speculation, and ongoing tension between rival groups. At the center of this case is the violent feud between members of the 051 Wu gang and the broader network of artists associated with Lil Dark. The tension has escalated over the years, fueled by both personal conflicts and the competitive nature of Chicago's drill scene. Violence has tragically taken the lives of several young men, leaving communities shocked and families mourning. Now, with federal involvement, the stakes are higher than ever. In a surprising development, a suspect in the recent killing connected to 051 Wu was released from custody. Authorities have not disclosed the full reasoning behind the release, but sources say it's related to ongoing investigations and the need to carefully manage evidence before proceeding with charges. Legal experts point out that this is not unusual in federal cases, where the complexity of evidence, ranging from surveillance footage to digital communications, can determine whether charges are filed or dropped. The feds have emphasized that the evidence will tell the whole story, a phrase that has left fans and the media speculating. Many are wondering what exactly this evidence includes. Reports suggest that authorities are looking at a combination of traditional investigative tools, such as eyewitness testimony, with more modern digital evidence, cell phone data, social media activity, and even geolocation tracking. In cases involving high-profile artists and gang-related violence, the smallest detail can be critical, and federal prosecutors are known for building cases meticulously. Lil Dark, a key figure in this story, has consistently maintained his innocence regarding direct involvement in violent incidents tied to 051 Wu. However, the public perception and media coverage often blur lines between association and participation. This has placed him under intense scrutiny, both online and in mainstream media. Fans are divided. Some believe he is unfairly targeted, while others fear the connections between music and street violence are unavoidable. The situation also raises questions about artist safety and career impact. When legal issues intersect with public perception, a single case can have long-term consequences on a rapper's career. Record labels, promoters, and collaborators tend to exercise caution, as federal scrutiny often slows down business deals and limits opportunities. In the age of social media, where news spreads instantly, every update, every arrest, release, or federal statement becomes part of the narrative. Community reactions are equally intense. Chicago neighborhoods affected by gang violence are watching closely, often fearing retaliation or further escalation. For many residents, the media coverage brings a painful reminder of ongoing violence, and there's a growing conversation about the role of law enforcement, community intervention, and the influence of music culture on youth. Social media posts, interviews, and statements from friends and associates of both Lil Dark and 051 Wu illustrate a city on edge, where loyalty, reputation, and survival are constantly intertwined. Legal analysts explain that federal cases involving gang-related activities are often more complex than state cases. Unlike local prosecutors, federal authorities can leverage broader resources, including wiretaps, cross-state investigations, and coordination with other agencies. This often leads to more thorough evidence collection, but also a slower process. The phrase that evidence will tell the whole story likely reflects confidence in this detailed approach. Federal prosecutors want a rock-solid case that leaves little room for doubt in court. Meanwhile, social media speculation continues to drive headlines. Fans, influencers, and even rival artists post opinions, theories, and sometimes false information. This has become a challenge for those following the case closely, as separating verified facts from rumors requires careful attention to official sources, court documents, and credible reporting. In situations like these, even a single misunderstood post can spark conflict or create additional tension between communities and artists. For Lil Dark and his team, the focus now is on transparency and maintaining public trust. Statements from his representatives highlight patience and reliance on the legal process. They emphasize that judgments should come from facts, not speculation. For the federal authorities, it's about building a case that can withstand scrutiny, not just from the public, but in court. Every piece of evidence collected, from videos and text messages to financial records, plays a critical role in forming the bigger picture. This case is far from over. With a suspect already released and federal prosecutors vowing to let the evidence speak, the next few months are likely to bring significant developments. For the hip-hop community and fans worldwide, it's a tense wait, one that could redefine narratives, relationships, and careers in the drill music scene. One thing is clear. In cases like this, the truth is never simple, and the final story may surprise more than just the public. It could reshape how authorities, artists, and communities interact moving forward. As the case moves forward, all eyes are on how federal authorities will piece together the evidence. While the release of the 051 Wu suspect raised questions, experts say it does not indicate weakness in the investigation. Instead, it reflects the strategic nature of federal cases, where timing is critical. Prosecutors want to ensure that when charges are ultimately filed, they have a comprehensive and airtight case that can stand up in court. One major factor under scrutiny is the connection between street-level conflicts and music promotion. Drill rap, while a cultural phenomenon, has repeatedly been linked to real-life violence in Chicago and beyond. Critics argue that some artists inadvertently fuel rivalries through lyrics, social media posts, and public behavior. Supporters insist that music reflects reality rather than causes it, emphasizing that the majority of drill artists are pursuing their careers legitimately. For federal investigators, distinguishing between artistic expression and criminal activity can be complicated. The release of the 051 Wu suspect also impacts the wider network of those affiliated with Lil Dark. Lawyers note that while immediate arrests grab headlines, the larger picture often emerges slowly. Federal cases can span months or even years, as investigators follow digital trails, track financial transactions, and interview witnesses. In many instances, evidence collected early is held back until the full story is ready to be presented in court. This may explain why authorities were confident enough to release the suspect while maintaining ongoing scrutiny. Public reaction has been intense. Social media feeds are flooded with discussions, debates, and theories. Fans of Lil Dark express support, emphasizing his contributions to music and philanthropy. Others remain skeptical, pointing to connections between artists and street activity. Meanwhile, community members in Chicago's most affected neighborhoods express concern about potential retaliation. The release of a suspect in a high-profile killing always carries the risk of further conflict, which makes communication from law enforcement crucial to prevent escalation. Legal analysts also stress the role of digital evidence. In today's age, cell phones, social media posts, and encrypted messaging apps often hold key information in investigations involving gangs and artists. Geolocation data, message history, and shared media can help establish timelines, connections, and motives. For federal authorities, these pieces of evidence are just as important, if not more, than eyewitness testimony. This may be why the feds confidently stated that the evidence will tell the whole story. They are likely building a case that relies on a combination of concrete digital proof and traditional investigative work. For Lil Dark, the situation is a delicate balancing act. He has to protect his reputation, maintain career momentum, and stay compliant with legal proceedings. Public statements are carefully crafted, emphasizing patience and trust in the legal system. His team highlights his dedication to music, community projects, and mentoring younger artists. Yet, in an environment where perception can be as powerful as reality, every interaction, online or in public, is analyzed for potential implications. The broader hip-hop industry is also watching closely. Labels, promoters, and collaborators understand that when federal cases intersect with artists' lives, business decisions often pause. Projects can be delayed, endorsements reconsidered, and public relations strategies recalibrated. At the same time, there's recognition that artists like Lil Dark have loyal fan bases that can withstand turbulence if the narrative is managed carefully. Many executives emphasize caution, waiting for official developments rather than reacting to speculation. Community leaders in Chicago are voicing concern, too. Programs aimed at youth intervention, anti-violence education, and mentorship have intensified in response to recent events. They stress that while high-profile cases attract media attention, the underlying issues of poverty, systemic inequality, and lack of resources continue to drive violence at the street level. The federal case may shine a spotlight on these challenges, but local leaders know that lasting change requires sustained effort beyond headlines and arrests. Looking ahead, experts predict several potential outcomes. The evidence could lead to indictments against key individuals, possibly including members of 051 Wu. Alternatively, if evidence does not support certain charges, the case could narrow, focusing only on those directly implicated. Either way, federal involvement signals that authorities are serious about ensuring accountability. It's a stark reminder that celebrity status does not shield anyone from scrutiny, especially when violence is involved. For fans and observers, patience is key. The release of a suspect is not the end. It is part of a larger process that could redefine narratives around Lil Dark, 051 Wu, and the Chicago drill scene. The federal approach emphasizes methodical investigation over sensational headlines, ensuring that when the story is revealed, it will be backed by evidence rather than speculation. Ultimately, the message from federal authorities is clear. The truth will emerge, and it will come through careful, thorough investigation. For Lil Dark, this means focusing on his music, his team, and his legal strategy while the system works to assemble the facts. For the community, it serves as a reminder that justice and safety require vigilance, cooperation, and patience. As the case continues to unfold, one thing remains certain. The narrative surrounding Lil Dark and 051 Wu is far from over, and the coming months could reshape both the legal and cultural landscape of Chicago's music scene. Every statement, every piece of evidence, and every development has the potential to alter public perception and influence the trajectory of careers. For now, the world waits, watching, speculating, and hoping that the evidence will finally tell the whole story.